So we see this all the time. A business owner comes to us in a panic. Their internal accounting resource has just left the organization for whatever reason, and now they have a big hole to fill. With ARI, they can rest assured that they're going to have 3, possibly more, depending on the size and complexity of their business, accounting professionals that are always going to be working on the account. That way, you really always have the peace of mind that someone is there to get the job done. When you hire a bookkeeper for your organization, let's say, you're really getting just that. You're getting someone that can do transactional work, cut checks for you, make deposits. As outsourcing to ARI, you're going to get a much broader level of professional services. We're going to have AP staff that we have at ARI, cutting checks, entering invoices. You're going to get a staff accountant that's going to be able to work the day-to-day transactional activity, work on bank reconciliations, things of that nature. And then you're going to get a CFO controller level service. And that person is going to be able to help you understand your business and navigate financial situations. Using ARI as your outsourced accounting provider is going to create a lot of value for the organization. Not the least of which is going to be the cost savings associated with an outsource versus an internal resource. Hiring a full-time accountant, you have to consider all of the costs associated with that person, from payroll taxes to health insurance to workers' comp insurance, management time, training expense, paid time off, office space. These are real challenges that face small business owners, and so using ARI will allow you to use those costs in other places in the organization. As an example, let's talk about hiring someone, an internal bookkeeper, at maybe a $50,000 salary. Those benefits, the additional benefits, can easily add up to another $10,000. With ARI, we find that you can easily trim up to 30% of those costs associated with that person using the outsourced model. When you outsource the accounting function to ARI, you really get maximum internal controls because the tasks are handled by impartial accountants who review transactions and can alert you to any questionable activity. As someone comes on board with ARI, our job is to take a look at the state of their financial situation, everything from compliance to accounting processes to internal controls. And really, that's where we're going to provide value to get people on the right track. If they had sales tax issues in the past, how do we rectify that? How do we move forward in a way that takes that risk out of the equation? We have business leaders that come into ARI and start to engage in conversations, and we understand that they're working 75% of the time in the accounting function or the finance function of their business. Using ARI as their outsource will give them more time to do the things that they should be doing. How do I grow my business? How do I train and mentor my staff? How do I find and attack opportunities that are going to have the overall organization grow? ARI has the ability, very easily to flex with the needs that you have as an organization. Maybe you need a line of credit and the bank is asking for a 5-year projection. Maybe you're interested in acquiring a company or two in your industry, and you need to understand and work on due diligence in order to make that happen. Well, we can flex with you and we can retract when necessary. Well, as a small business owner, the chances of you getting a notice from the IRS or the state of Connecticut at some point, or another state that you're operating in, is really a high chance. At ARI, we have a lot of knowledge and experience around resolving those notices, who to contact, what documentation to provide, and how to best get resolution to these issues. So in order to reduce risk, ARI has a lot of experience and understanding of sales and use tax codes, some IRS regulations, certainly compliance relation around property tax declarations, filing of 1099s on an annual basis, filing of sales tax quarterly, monthly, whatever the occurrence of that is. And if those risks aren't appropriately addressed, it could cause large penalties and interest down the road. So really, ARI takes a proactive approach to understanding the business, understanding the compliance issues around the business, and making sure that they're on track. On a monthly basis, you'll not only get your standard financial results, but also access to your ARI dedicated engagement manager who understands your business goals, can walk you through the financials, and help you interpret the data you need to make critical business decisions.